Hey guys, my name is Privan, and this is my very first Warhammer Fantasy Battle Report. Hope that the sound and the picture comes out okay. If it doesn't, might end up redoing this. But if not, or if it's kind of good enough, well, here we go. Had a 2,500 point game today. I play High Elves, and I fought the Vampire accounts. Always fun to fight the vampires. Alright, let's take a look at my force, or part of my force. I apologize in advance about the condition of my models. Some of the models I got in a trade about a year ago, got really 2,000 points of elves for like about $70 with the old codex. Couldn't pass that up, and I kind of just started playing. I play 40k, I play the orcs, but I really like fantasy. I think fantasy's just a little bit of a better game. The spearmen I'm working on, leave comments on kind of what you think about them. They're slowly being done. The swordmasters, the ones that are painted, those were already painted by somebody else. I'm probably going to go back and redo them, but I apologize for the gray models. Hopefully with more battle reports coming out, you'll slowly get to see my high elf army get finished. Alright, with that said, we have 35 spearmen, full command with the standard discipline. I really love spearmen. I think they're probably one of the best core choices in the entire game. Also, just to let everyone know, I'm going to be talking a lot about why I'm kind of choosing some units for the first couple battle report videos, and because mainly I want people's opinion on if they agree with me, they disagree with me, and I have several friends that are going to be watching these videos that are getting into fantasy, so might make them better understand it. So those are the spearmen. To the right are the elite of the high elf force, the Swordmasters of Hoeth. I love the Swordmasters. I think they were a lot better in the previous codex when we could reroll great weapons, but they still have 2 attacks base, and you can give them a magical banner up to 50 points. So they have the Banner of the World Dragon, which gives a 2-up ward save against all magic attacks, magic spells. Pretty much makes them nearly invulnerable to magic. To the left that is unpainted is the Loremaster of Hoeth. Very good. He's kitted out with the Book of Hoeth, and he has the Armor of Destiny, which is basically heavy armor, and he has a 4-up ward save. In the middle is my BSB. He's basically he has the Reaver Bow. He's got I think it's the Shield of Merylwyn, which is like a 4-up. I might have mispronounced that wrong, but it's a 4-up parry save in close combat. He's got the Golden Crown, which is a 2-up ward save for the first unsaved wound. Yeah, so he can kind of hold his own a little bit. Probably only for 1 round of combat, though, against a vampire. After that, he's in trouble. And on the right, that odd-looking, hideous mage that I definitely need to go over, once again, I didn't paint it, is a level 4 Archmage with high magic. He's got basically a Dispel Scroll and Talisman of Preservation. So basically I got all the signature spells with the Loremaster of Hoeth, and the Archmage I got Fiery Convocation, Drain Magic, Soul Quench, and Walk Between Worlds. Continuing on with the High Elf Force, remember this is 2,500 points, so kind of big. I got 15 archers. No command, they just have the banner name musician. I kind of redid the archers a bit. Redid their robes, redid the cloak. I think they look a lot better than they did. Feel free if you think I need to redo them. They're just 15 archers. I needed some extra points in core. There you go. They got longbows, which are nice. The Reavers back there that need work and painted. They got full command, and they got spears and bows. I really love the Reavers. Not only do they get Vanguard, which basically allows you to move 12 inches before the game even starts, but they're fast cav. So pretty much they can wheel around, they can flee and then reform and move after. They're just great. I love my Reavers. A buddy of mine turned me on the Reavers, and I've never gone back. Now we're getting into some of my favorite units that the High Elves have. I've got 2 Eagles and 2 Bolt Throwers. Those Bolt Throwers I did paint. I painted them from scratch, and I think they look really good. Pretty much Eagles, they got 3 wounds, they're considered monsters, so they have Stomp, they cause fear, and they're flying. the Eagles are really, really, really good. And like bolt throwers too. They don't explode on me, blow up in your face like cannons from the Empire. And of course, the Frostheart Phoenix. The newest monster that the High Elves have. It's toughness 6, strength 6. The Phoenix's stats change depending on what you roll on the Winds of Magic, so sometimes it can become strength 7. It comes with a ward save, a 5-up ward save that can become a 4-up ward save, and it has 5-up armor. It also it has a special ability, it has like a Frost Aura. Whatever it's in base contact with, it reduces that by one strength. So if it's in base contact with a bunch of skeletons, they're no longer strength 3, they're strength 2. That rule right there is, and also having a ward save on a monster, is why a lot of people think that this is a broken unit. I don't think it's broken. I think it's really, really good, but it's nothing like something that like a Demon Prince or that the Warriors of Chaos can use. It still has 5 wounds, and if you fire enough cannons at it from Empire or Dwarf, and I fail my ward save, I mean, you can kill it in one shot. But it's still very good. I did not paint this. I had a friend paint it. Looks really good though. Alrighty, now we are finally to the vampire counts. Okay, so I'm not really too familiar with the vampire counts, so I apologize if I get any of this wrong. I don't have their codex. They have a Terrorgeist. That Hydra in the back is being proxied as a Mortis Engine. My opponent did not have one. Got two groups of Hexwraiths. I think she was running them in 5-man squads, I believe. The Cave Troll, or not Cave Trolls, the Trolls are basically being proxied as Crypt Horrors. We got 2 groups of Dire Wolves, a block of, I think that's 20 zombies, another block of 20 zombies, and 5, 10, 15, 20, looks like there's 30, another group of 30, but those are skeletons. She's proxying them as skeletons. The front rank of skeletons, she just has a lot of zombies, doesn't have skeletons yet. I was perfectly okay with it. Pretty much at my shop, we're all kind of cool with proxying. We got a good group going. So she wanted to try skeletons out. The 3 little figures there are Dark Elf Corsairs. She's proxying those 2. Those 3 are Banshees. Which was the first time she was using them, and I was quite proud because she typically only uses the same list or 2 over and over. So she really went out of the box on this one and really started using some different stuff for her army. And the Necromancer right there, he is the special character. I think it's like Hydric something. Special character Necromancer. Tell me in the comments if y'all know what it is. And then of course the Vampire. He has Red Fury, of course, has a great weapon, a Talisman of Preservation. Unfortunately, he did not have Quick Blood. When she told me that, I kind of just sighed a little bit, because she said she didn't have the points. She didn't even have the points for a Dispel Scroll, which was a kind of a noob mistake. But she really wanted to have 3 Banshees. So, the great part of making a list, you can put in what you want with it, it's your list. But I think she definitely needed to give the Vampire Quick Blood. That would give it always strikes first, and then of course a Dispel Scroll. Gotta have a Dispel Scroll. The special character is a level 4 Vampire Lore, and the Vampire is a level 1. It had the signature spell. I think the Necromancer had the signature spell, Curse of Years, Raise Dead, and Gaze of Nagash is what she got with those. And I love how she painted her vampire. Can't really see his face right there because he's impaling a dead skeleton, but love the detail on the wings. She's just a fabulous painter. Alright. This is the battlefield. We pretty much just decided to do a pitch battle. We have some trees. That white thing right there is the river. It was in the middle of the board. I always like playing with the river in the middle because I'm a high elf player. I kind of like to sit on my butt a little bit and shoot with my bolt throwers and hurl magic. She didn't like the river in the middle, so we kind of compromised and kind of moved it off to the side to create that big gap there. 2 buildings, a blessed bulwark on the right, and then a fence to the left. So, kind of some choke points on the battlefield, which was good. And that's the deployment. I'll kind of go through deployment, what was going through my head. I can't really say for her. Pretty much I have my spears right there with my Swordmasters on the right next to them. I'm having the proxy about 5 Swordmasters because I don't have enough put together yet. My archers are to the left with the Phoenix kind of behind them. All that is within range of the general. The Eagle's kind of hard to see. It's like right in front of the Swordmasters. And then you have my Reavers, the other Reavers, and my Eagles on the far left of the table. And both of my bolt throwers are right there behind the fence. I was really hoping to kind of draw her towards the river, and kind of get her to come to me, because once you go in a river, I didn't know this till a couple weeks ago. Once you're in a river, you cannot use the rule Steadfast, and Steadfast basically allows you to count up 3 additional ranks more than you have your opponent. And if you're in a river, you can't have Steadfast unless the unit is stubborn. So, I definitely know she's coming with lots of skeletons, lots of zombies. She's gonna always probably get Steadfast on me, have those 3 extra ranks, so I kind of wanted to negate that, was my strategy, thinking that. Bolt throwers are behind the fence with a clear line of sight at her army. Primary target is the Mortis Engine. I really got to take that out before it starts getting powerful. Of course, I'll shoot at the Terror guys too if I have the opportunity. And pretty much I have my Frost Heart there to kind of guard that flank. I was not intending to cross that river at all. I was going to let her come to me. And here's a great shot, I think, of the Undead Horde looking at the High Elves, still before the game started. She has her Banshees right there. No doubt she's going to start kind of, fanning out. Mortis Engine's in a good spot, I think. And, yeah, nasty Cryptors. I do not like those things. I'm glad she's only running 6. Every time I see a person field 9 or 12, I just kind of shiver. Alright, High Elf view right there. And second view, because I'm kind of spread out, she's kind of bunched together. Got the Eagle hiding behind the trees. I was definitely going to try to get him to flank, see what I could do with that. Alright, my Vanguard movement, I move my Reavers up because I know that I'm going to have my Eagle in a position to flank them. I'm probably going to keep it around the tower. Wouldn't stop the Hexwraiths necessarily, but I'd rather the Hexwraiths chase the Eagle than go after other stuff in my army. Really kind of hoping that the Hexwraiths or the dogs will chase. And also this really prevented her from Vanguarding on this side. That's pretty much why I did it. Creepy Terror guys in the back there. That's her Vanguard movement. She comes up with her... I decided not to Vanguard the other Reaver. She comes up with the Wolves and the Hexwraiths. Not really sure what she's going to do with the Hexwraiths. I'm going to get a 2-up ward save against them against my Swordmasters. I'm not sure if she did that to psychologically kind of freak me out, or if she maybe forgot about the Banner of the World Dragon. But didn't really worry me too much, seeing that. Alrighty. Top of turn 1, unfortunately, to move them up, I had to clip the trees, and they were a Venom thicket, or Venom Trees, and pretty much I had to do 5 or 6 DTs, I think those are the dice right there, and it was okay, and it gave those Swordmasters and my Loremaster poison attacks, which unfortunately I forgot. I always insist on playing with the cool rules of terrain and stuff like that, and I always forget the benefits of it. So I forgot they had poison attacks for the rest of the game, but they were fine. And that black die right there is the turn marker, so if y'all are kind of seeing that, that's what that is. First magic phase of the game, I get rid of her Hexwraiths. I basically use my Loremaster to kind of try to, do a fireball. She basically stops that, but she didn't have enough dice to stop my level 4 Archmage from using Soul Quench on him. I got him down to a man. I think I got 8 hits on him, and I got 5. That's what I needed, and they just went poof. So definitely, in 40k terms, definitely got first blood right there. Moved my Eagle up. I was definitely going to hit my Eagle on the flank of the Hexwraiths, just trying to get him, tie him up through combat resolution. It would only have 1 attack against me, but, maybe it would have failed. But, didn't need it. My Archmage did the job for me. My archers, that I did not intend to really do much. 15 shots. I was hoping just to get 1 wound. And I did. I got 1 wound on the Mortis Engine. Not that big of a victory, really, because I know she's going to heal it with the with the vampire lore attributes, but I thought it was pretty nice, and it definitely made her cautious of those archers afterwards. She started focusing on them. This is what it looks like at the end of turn 1. Basically, her Hexwraiths are gone. I moved my Reavers up. My Eagle's there by the tower, and I kind of moved up my Spearmen and my Swordmasters. For the most part, I'm hanging back. I'm going to see what she's going to do. She charges with her dogs. As you can see, my Eagle's in a position. This is what I was hoping for. I did a stand and shoot, and I killed one. That's all I did. She charges with the other dogs across the river. I think she needed maybe like a 9 or 9 or 10, which is not too difficult with the dogs, but still, it was pretty impressive, I thought. And she went across the river. It turned out to be a normal river. She was fine, and my archers did not kill a single dog, which I was just like, wow. So basically, she got in there. I think she was just throwing her dogs to see what the river was, so the rest of her army could kind of get an idea, what was expecting. Right there, should not have happened. Her Terrorgeist basically screamed into the Reavers, killed them all. Was it honestly, to be honest, I kind of forgot about the Terrorgeist. But then again, as I was kind of thinking about it when I was driving home, I'd rather it stay there and scream at Reavers than it fly towards my army and scream at my bolt throwers or my Phoenix. But nevertheless, I was a bit sad, because my Reavers definitely could have killed those wolves, won that combat, but they didn't even get a chance to. Though I had some vengeance, my archers killed all 5 dogs. I love always strikes first. All my archers got attacks, and basically killed them before they did anything. Basically, I counterattack. I drive the Eagle into the flank of the Wolves, and basically my Frostheart goes right into the Hexwraiths. This is where it's kind of debatable. Some players would say this was a stupid move. You're going to tie up the Frostheart. I was really hoping, and I was confident that I was going to kill at least 2, maybe 3, and I would have the charge. And I was hoping to overrun into the Terrorgeist. But, it's one of those things where, I know that it's the only thing that can kill those things in the Hexwraiths, and, I'm kind of muttering right now, because I'm looking at it, maybe it wasn't such the best idea to do. I think I got a little too impatient. With this river there, we were just kind of looking at each other, and I kind of wanted something to happen. And I was also, my other figure was to maybe possibly, I was going to do the Dire Wolf combat first, hopefully kill 1 or 2, maybe the Stomp would get 1, and then basically the charge in the flank would finish off the rest of the Dire Wolves, and then I could overrun into the flank of the Hexwraiths, which would pretty much almost give me a guarantee that we would get through them. But so my second magic phase, I target a Banshee with a Fireball, and I get the Banshee, but I get a miscast. Luckily, though, it was a 6 on the chart, which it only killed 2 Swordmasters. My Loremaster didn't get hurt. And so, I was like, I will definitely trade 2 Swordmasters for a Banshee. So it actually worked out pretty well. But every time you see those 2 6s, just part of you kind of freezes. You're just like, oh gosh, I don't want to go in the warp. My archers and the BSB with the Reaver Bow put 2 more wounds on the Mortis Engine. Telling you, 150 points for 15 archers. They're already starting to pay for themselves. And I love the Reaver Bow and the BSB. It's strength 5 with him. That's +1 to his strength. Gets 3 shots with it. The ballistic skill's so high, he's pretty much going to hit every time. And, toughness 5 on the Mortis Engine, I believe, so I'd wounded on 4s. I think the archers did a wound and the BSB did a wound. It's like they were almost having a shooting competition. My bolt throwers try to fire at the Terrorgeist. I'm trying to negate some of the damage that might come from a scream. And I do 1 wound on it. I think one was able to hit while the other missed, and of course she failed her 6-up regen. Yes, it was in revenge indeed. Killed the Dire Wolves, and I do not know why I did not overrun into the flank. I think maybe I was trying to taunt her with the eagle, hoping she'd go at that. Of course, I don't think she did. Can't really remember. But I probably should have hit the flank, and this was probably my biggest mistake of the game right here. I do this a lot. I basically formulate a plan, and the plan works, and then I divert from the plan. It really hurts me as a player, and I definitely need to get over that. Talk myself out of it. This is how it's looking at the end of turn 2. As you can see, we're still kind of watching them on the river. It's the left that's having the most activity. My eagle is creeping around the back. I'm hoping to either slam it into the back as the Mortis Engine, or do something with it. I'm not really sure what yet, but I definitely wasn't going to send it into the Cryptors right there. Kind of wish she had a more squishy Necromancer. I probably would have gone hunting with it. But for the most part, I'm just kind of circling back, maybe hit the Terrorgeist in the rear. If the Frostheart gets in combat with it, it can stay alive. And then the other Reavers right there, I'm just basically shooting zombies with arrows. They're having a good time. Yes, I did not kill the Hexwraiths. Got 4 of them with the Frostheart, but there was one left. I knew what was coming. I knew this was a risk, and when I saw this, I was like, oh well. Frostheart is definitely going to basically get a beating. Cryptor's charge. She finally commits, and she charges the Swordmasters. Which at first I was a little bit shocked about, but then again, not really. She's got to basically do something to handle them. You know, I had 30 of them. I had 30 Swordmasters. I'm not sure if I told the number. Had a lot of Swordmasters. My Loremaster was in there. You know, it's a pretty tough unit. She knew she couldn't hurt it magically, so you know she sent the Cryptors in there, which I probably would have done the same. And they were just up far enough that I couldn't do a charge with the spears in their flank because it would have turned the rear of the unit, because you know I had 35 spears. The rear of the unit would have hit the Reavers, and also even if that wasn't the case, I would have exposed my entire flank to the rest of her army. So she knew that I was not going to, you know, do a counter charge with my spears because I couldn't, and that would leave me vulnerable. So unfortunately, the Swordmasters were on their own. That's another view right there. I was a bit nervous about that. You know, being toughness 3 as a high elf is it's pretty dangerous. The Cryptors, I believe, they're strength 4 and they're toughness 5, but they have poison attacks, so they're always wounded me on 6s. They got stomps, and they're monstrous infantry, so the back rank get their full attacks. So it was going to be pretty painful, but I have always strikes first. Yeah, definitely could have used Earplugs. She moved both her Banshees around, preparing to scream at the Frostheart. Terrorgeist doing the same. It's just, yeah, I mean, 3 screams coming at me. You know, the Frostheart, gosh, you know, just my heart was sinking at this point. And still locked in combat with that Hexwraith. Gaze of Nagash from the Necromancer just obliterated the archer unit. I guess he got tired of us shooting at the Mortis Engine. Got a 10 on Gaze of Nagash, and every single one of them wounded. They didn't have light armor. Wouldn't matter if they did, because it would have knocked, you know, strength 4, I believe, on Gaze of Nagash. So killed 10 archers, but you know, being leadership lead 8 with the BSB in general right to the right, we of course held. But you know, it's pretty much that finished off that unit. They weren't going to be too effective, so only 5 shots now instead of 15. This was really shocking to me, and this is when she really started to get real frustrated, and I don't blame her. The first Banshee did nothing. Basically, I think she got 8. And the leadership on a Frostheart is 9. It didn't do anything. Her Terrorgeist, I think, got 2 or 3 through. I passed 2 of them with my ward save, which is why a lot of people hate the Frosthearts and the Phoenixes, because they have ward saves. And then her second Banshee only got 1 through. So she had 3 screams, and she only did she only did 2 wounds to the Frostheart. And this basically really really got me excited. I was like, oh my gosh, it's not going to die yet. Maybe I can actually do something with it. Cryptor struck. Yeah, started eating my Swordmasters, picking them up and ripping them apart, which is what I was afraid was going to happen. I think I lost 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, this looks like 7 or 8 right there. Though I did some good damage to her too, but it was definitely, definitely causing me to worry. This is what it looks like at the end of turn 2. Cryptors with the Swordmasters, Frostheart over there getting yelled at by a bunch of things. That Hexwraith is still alive, or I think at that point I killed it in her combat. I was able to get through it, and I was definitely going to get the hell out of there come my turn. Turn 3, this is when I basically put Earthblood and Wilson's Wild Form on the Swordmasters, which turns everything around. Now they have a 5-up regen, they have +1 strength and +1 toughness, so now instead of wounding on 4s, they're now wounded on 3s, and pretty much the Cryptors will now only wound me on 4s instead of 3s. Completely kind of reverses our role at this point. Trying to remember how the magic phase went exactly. I think she let Earthblood go through because she was expecting something else. I think she was expecting Wild Form or something else pretty nasty. I'm not sure how many dice I had, but I tried to fake her out with Earthblood, and I think that's what she thought I was doing. And so basically she held off. And then basically I got Wild Form off because I threw the rest of my dice at it. And I didn't miscast. And she threw her dice, and it just didn't really add up to much. But this is when it really hurted her not having a Dispel Scroll. If she had one, she definitely would have Dispel Scrolled Wild Form. So yeah, having both these spells on the Swordmasters, I was feeling pretty confident about that combat. So yeah, the Frostheart flew away after taking care of the Hexwraith. I got out of there, and then my Eagle basically did a flank charge in the Banshee. I didn't have anything on that side of the table that could really hurt them. I'm going to have a charge and a flank, so I'm already up by combat by 2. If, even if it does manage to hurt me one time, I'm still going to do a wound to it. If she fluffs her attack, I'm going to kill it, and then I can overrun into the second Banshee. The bolt throwers are in a good position to fire at the Terrorgeist, and we do. I think we put another wound on it. So at this point, the Terrorgeist is starting to get more manageable with its screams. I was really afraid that she was going to turn around and come scream at the bolt throwers. Oh yeah, that's another reason why. I was asking why people were saying, why are you charging the Frostheart against her Hexwraiths? I was really afraid that those Hexwraiths were going to come at my bolt throwers. So I basically threw my Frostheart at them and try to kill them. I care about my bolt throwers probably more than I should as a high elf player. They're really good, but I don't think I should be risking a Frostheart to protect them. But they're my painted models. They're like my children. I love them. Alright, so this is the end of High Elf turn 3. Mortis Engine's got 3 wounds on it. Those dice on the back of her zombies are basically proxy for zombies. Unfortunately, she only has so many models, and I was perfectly okay with her using dice. And I would be as well as okay with a Skaven player. I mean, it's just so many models, so much money. It's ridiculous. Only the people that have been playing for years really have like 200 or 300 zombies, and she's only been playing for a few months. I've only been playing for a year, so we're both kind of new players, so had no problem with it. And I did kill the Banshee, and I overran into the second one, which, the Eagle paid for itself right there. I just love my Eagles. And the result of basically Wild Form and Earthblood on the Swordmasters, yeah, poor Cryptors. That's basically how it's looking right now. I'm feeling very confident about the battle. My Frostheart, I moved away from the 2 Banshees and the Terrorgeist at the time, and I was planning to charge the Mortis Engine in the rear with it. Going to do the same with my Eagle at this point. But right now, the High Elves are definitely dominated in the battlefield, but she's still got so many skeletons. I think it's I think she's got 40-something skeletons. She's still got, at this point, she's got close to 60 to 70 zombies with those dice. And then she has another block of 20 zombies. She still has a Banshee. Terrorgeist is still there. You know, she's got her Vampire, which can kill a lot of stuff. So she was not out of the fight yet. Mortis Engine bubbled, and it reached my line finally. It killed off 3 of my archers, killed off 2 spearmen. Could have been a lot worse, but by this point it was only turn 3, so, you know, she was only wounding me on 4s with the bubble. But at this point I knew I had to get rid of it. So she charges my archers, and at this point I was like, you know what, you guys have done more than I expected you to. I salute you. Have a nice journey into the afterlife. And they stand and they shoot, because why not? Because if they flee at this point, they're never going to rally. They're below 50%. I think I managed to kill 2 zombies as I stand and shot, and we pretty much know the result of that. The vampire, with the other zombie group, I apologize. The one with the necromancers are the skeletons. This is the zombie. Okay, so they were able to kill 2 skeletons. The archers were. So the vampire and the zombies, they cross the river. They're in the river. Can't use steadfast. I'm loving this. I think my BSB kills 2 zombies with the stand and shoot with the Reaver Bow. I love that thing. And my spears are ready, and they're holding. Managed to only because I was only in the flank, I was managed to put a wound on the Banshee, but she keeps fluffing her attacks. They're really not good in close combat, I guess. But she passed her leadership 5, and she was able to spin around and face me, so I was no longer getting the flank bonus. Yes, my archers didn't last. Okay, so the combat with the spears. You know, I issue a challenge immediately to her vampire. Of course, she accepts. My spear champion comes out. And, you know, he's really like the sacrificial lamb. I knew she was going to get 5 points of overkill from the duel, but at least it wasn't going to be on my units. So, yeah, she killed my spearman, I think, like 4 times over. I was kind of hoping to maybe put 1 wound. My spear champion's done that before with, like, a Chaos Lord. I think actually with the Demon Prince one time too. He was actually able to put 1 wound on it. That's why I love fantasy. You know, as long as you get a 6, you might be able to do something, and I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. Cryptors finally fell. Swordmasters, God, I love them so much. So basically, at this point, you know, I spin them around because the entire time she has. Notice how the Mortis Engine's on the other side now. I think she was heading towards my bolt throwers with them. I'm not really sure what she was doing. I think she was trying to get away from my Frost Heart. But then, you know, that thing's going to keep bubbling. And so basically I wanted to get my Swordmasters out and basically either catch the Mortis Engine with them or my Frost Heart. I was pretty confident about my spears holding. And it would take another turn or 2 to get them into a good position for a flank charge. So I was really kind of relying on the spears to do their combat because, you know, the spears didn't help the Swordmasters against the Cryptors, so why should the Swordmasters help the spears? You know. This is the end of turn 3. Such a long game. Apologize if this is a long battle report. It's my first, so I'm not sure how much detail that you guys want. I always like knowing about everything. So basically, the Terrorgeist is creeping towards the Frost Heart. You know, she screamed at it again. And basically, I think she put another wound on it. So at this point, I think it has like 1 or 2 wounds left on it. So yeah. And my other eagle back there is just kind of chilling. Thought about sending him into the flank of that zombie unit, but, you know, I almost viewed it as wasn't necessary, and I kind of wanted both my eagles to stay alive because they always die, and it would have been kind of cool to have them both live. After I just say that, I send 1 into the path of the Terrorgeist, and this really was a Hail Mary. I was trying to keep it tied up in combat. Terrorgeist would have 4 attacks. You know, maybe she would fluff at least 1, maybe 2 or 3 of them. maybe failed a wound on me. You never know. It's actually happened in our game before. I played her several times. She's definitely a lot better player now. But actually, her Terror Guys actually have fluffed her attacks on an Eagle, and I actually have been able to keep a Terror Guys tied up with an Eagle. And so that's what I was trying to do in this instance. Finally got the Mortis Engine. The Flash, can't see the card, but it was a Fireball. The Loremaster basically just went all out. It was 3d6, negated the regen, and definitely blew up the Mortis Engine. It killed like 2 Swordmasters and killed a couple spears, but ironically it killed more zombies and skeletons than it did of mine. The dice were not with her this game. And apparently they weren't with my Eagle. Terror Guys ate it. Made me very sad. This is what it's looking like at the end of turn 4. Pretty much as you notice, the the vampire is gone. His unit is gone. I think there should have been another picture here, but pretty much what happened was that I just put so much damage into that unit. I think I got like 15 wounds on them with all my spears, my BSB. The vampire was able to kill, I think those are the spears he killed. He killed like 3 or 4 of my spears with Red Fury, but his zombies didn't do anything. And through combat resolution, unfortunately, the whole unit just popped vampire with it. And so basically I kind of did a free reform. I was prepping for another charge against the skeletons and the necromancer, and my Loremaster and my Swordmasters were there as well for another charge. Another view right there, kind of showing off my spearmen. though. That's why there's a lot of pictures of them. They're just almost all done. This is the biggest. This just blew my mind. We might have done this wrong, with the dice and stuff like that. The rear might have been a little bit. She might not have been possible to wheel it, but she rolled so high. I think she got like boxcars on the charge. She was charging the Swordmasters, and it looked right at the time how she wheeled it. Like I said, I've only been playing a year. She's only been playing a couple months, and it looked right. She got such a high roll. I didn't say anything, and so she charged, and they were out of line of sight for the spears, which was kind of frustrating. I was kind of hoping to charge your flank with them, but kudos to her for getting them out of the way. So my Swordmasters definitely hold. Her Necromancer has a wound on it, because I think in the previous magic phase she got a miscast. She got the same result I did. She got a 6, and she put a wound on him. But great shot of the spears once again. Don't y'all love those spearmen? So turn 4, this is a view from the Reavers. About 20 block of zombies are kind of coming towards them. I kept moving the Reapers back. I think she gives the Reavers too much credit. I think a lot of players do that haven't played many High Elves players for a while or a long time. Simply because they're on horses, I think like, ooh, cavalry's good. I'm gonna go get the cavalry. Guys, Reavers are basically there to distract you. It's like a shiny coin that's on a string being pulled. They were doing their job. I was keeping that 20 block of zombies away from the bolt throwers. So it's great. That's why I love my Reavers. So through the skeletons and her Necromancer, that's special character, that's ethereal, she was just starting to hack away at my guys. I think he killed 2 of them. The skeletons killed the other 2. And at this point I'm like, okay, there's about 40 skeletons right now. She's going to make more. My Swordmasters won't be able to hold much longer. They need support. So by turn 5, I go all in. I have the Reavers charge the flank. The Frost Heart comes over the river into the flank. My Spearmen slam into the flank of the zombies. And at this point, the shop was, we played this on Easter Sunday. Yeah, I know, Warhammer on Easter. And it was it was afternoon, and I know the shop wanted to close. so the owners could go spend time with their family. So at this point, I was just trying to get the game done, because she kind of gave me a look when I did these multi-charge on her skeleton unit. But in my argument, the Swordmasters would not hold without support. So there's a picture of the flank charge and the zombies. Great picture of the spearmen again. Yes, and there's Terry the Terrorgeist. He's still lurking. He's coming. He has 3 wounds on him, so at this point I was kind of ignoring him, but I feel so sorry for the poor guy. He's outside the general's bubble, so he was just slowly creeping up, trying to get that frost heart. The combat res for the skeletons, I think that's like 20. That's how much I won the combat by all those dice. I think there's 20 something in there. Combined with the flank charge, the Frost Heart's attack, I think for the Thunder Stomp I got 6. The Reavers all successfully killed something because they were strength 4 on the charge with the spears. I think their horses killed something. The Swordmasters killed something. Swordmasters killed a lot. There's a spell card on the Swordmaster in that picture. I think I put Wild Form on them again. They were just going to town. They were just slaughtering the skeletons. And unfortunately, the skeletons didn't do much because they had the Frost Aura, so they were now wounded me on 5 and 6s instead of 4s. I felt really bad for her. But at the end, the Terrorgeist actually lived. It passed, in terms of when the general died, it passed its leadership, and on her turn, I think just on pure principle, she wanted to kill the damn Frost Heart. And so, she did. She moved up, she screamed at it, had 1 wound left, and she did kill it. So, she got points for that at least. And then we called the game. So it was a high elf victory. I pretty much tabled her, except for Terry the Terrorgeist. He lived. It's great, really fun game. She and I have definitely improved as players. I love the High Elves. They're definitely the army that suits me best. And also, I'm doing something else in these Bat Rep videos. I'm having a MVP. The Swordmasters / Loremaster unit was definitely the best unit by far in the game. They performed great. They always do. A lot of people, and I know in tournament settings, people will take Phoenix Guard, and I love the Phoenix Guard, and they'll take White Lions. In all honesty, I don't really use White Lions that much. I love my Swordmasters. I'm more into the fluff, more playing games for fun than actually making competitive lists. Some of y'all might argue that just bringing the Frostheart period makes it a competitive list. So I mean, this was definitely. It was definitely a fun game, but yeah, Swordmasters definitely got the MVP. They fought off the Crypt Horrors, and they held against all those skeletons, and of course the Loremaster. He's in there as well because he got all those spells off, killed the Hexwraiths. So, but yeah, definitely a fun game. Anyway, I appreciate you guys listening. If you have any tips or suggestions for either me or especially my vampire account opponent, please let us know, because I've been trying to help her out with strategy and stuff, but I don't play the army. So if you guys play vampire accounts, or if y'all know anything, throw out some stuff or some tips she could have done or maybe not should have done. Same with me. All right, appreciate it, guys.